Welcome, everyone, to the Dark Ages. The year is 1198 in the city of Marseille, France. With me tonight are my wonderful players, a collection of kindred who will introduce themselves, starting with our top left, Sister Hildegard. I think you might be muted, my friend.
Sorry about that. I'm Calamity Casey. You can find me everywhere at Calamity Casey, and tonight I will be playing Sister Hildegard.
Next, we have Asta Sorensen.
Everybody, and welcome to this evening. My name is Dana Leigh, and tonight I am playing Asta Sorensen.
Followed by our Tremere,
What's
Violet de Claret.
Elliot. You can find me on Twitter at Chaos Elliot and Chaos Them. Oh, what? Oh, okay. All right, cool. I almost thought I was muted. But yeah, I will be playing Violet de Claret, and you don't see a Tremere mug. What are you talking about?
Such a good mug.
Next up, we have the enigmatic Tzimisce of the party, Gamaliel.
Know about enigmatic, but yeah, Gamaliel here, and you can find me on all socials as Penny for a Tale. Super looking forward to this session.
As am I. Last but not least, my Gehenna Gaming co-founder and good friend, Abbot Aldrich.
Thank you for tuning in to the second episode. I'm Mark Hugh Anderson. I will be playing Abbot Aldrich, and I'm very scared.
And tonight we open with a quote from the Dark Ages from a philosopher writer named Taqi ad-Din Ahmad ibn Taymiyyah. Don't depend too much on anyone in this world, because even your own shadow leaves you when you're in the darkness. Last episode, we left off with the Salon of St. Regis, where a number of diplomats, dignitaries, important who's who of the Canaanite world arrived in our beloved city. However, many of our kindred saw some disturbing things outside as a man afflicted with injuries from fighting monsters on the border of civilization, trying to defend a young child who the demons were not even targeting. He himself with a wound across his chest, the wound with infernal writing across it. As medical attention was trying to be provided to him, he sprung to life, went through an embrace of sorts, became something else, and ran off into the night. Our coterie ended up going into the salon. But before all this, our dear Abbot Aldrich had an altercation at the beginning of our episode with Prince St. Regis. Deep within a catacomb of St. Vincent's Abbey, the Chapel of St. Lawrence, real place, hosting a book 1,000 years old, the pages of the writing St. Augustine of Hippo, of some Psalms, caught ablaze in the mere presence of the abbot. The abbot then supernaturally questioned his own prince, or not his prince, but the prince in the domain he was staying in, as to what sins he may or may not be hiding. And Regis, a peaceful, God-fearing man, had an outburst like he had not had in perhaps a century. The salon is over. Those there have had time to reflect on the words, deeds, and actions of elders, neonates, fledglings, pettiness, and, well, it does keep one busy. No matter how petty some of these actions may seem, they can drive a kindred for 100 years with simply something to do. Another reason to go on for another night, when reasons are becoming fewer and fewer for the elders in these dark nights. Everyone has received a note on the inside of their haven. Elliot, Violet de Claret, you have a small cottage.
Yep.
You live there with Fleur, your bodyguard, gifted
Yes,
to
I do.
you by Gamaliel, a very tall and powerful woman. Asta Sorensen has moved to Marseille and has a very simple, accommodating living place as well. Gamaliel is a minor manse, luxurious, with practically a harem of beautiful people inside, and perhaps some other secrets yet to be discovered. The three of you find a note on the inside of your haven door, written in cloth. It is stained with black fingers. It smells of mildew, mold, decay, and death. And it simply says, well, let's find it right now. Don't tell me it's in none of my notes and all of our Discord conversations. Of
I
course,
can
this
read
is-
it if you want.
I would absolutely love you to read it, Gamaliel.
Yeah, Gamaliel looks at it and do not walk upon the streets tonight if you value your own life. The ward has been placed to keep you in and others out. It will be removed tomorrow. And with that, he will bring it to his fireplace and toss it in.
Violet, what is your
Right.
reaction to this intrusion?
Shocked. And also I hand it to Fleur, who looks very kind of like she rolls her eyes, but sighs, and we also toss it into our fireplace.
Asta Sorensen, what are your feelings and thoughts on this?
I wouldn't go so far as to say feelings, but I'm very, very interested to find out who would ward my haven and go so far as to warn me for my safety. I am overly curious. But I also dispose of the note as well.
Valid reaction. Sister Hildegard, there's a bit of a different situation with you. It's not on the inside of your convent. Or at least it wasn't taped to any door. It was found outside by the sisters and the friars of the monastery. They are holding it, talking about it, wondering what it means. But it mentions nothing about a ward for you. It simply says, do not walk the streets these nights. The friars, sisters, abbots, and priests, they may be people of God, but they are still a superstitious lot. They have abandoned whatever errands they may have wanted to run this evening. You're muted, my friend.
I was thinking, sorry. I will arise and go out to investigate what these other clergy members have found so interesting in this note.
You find a rather rotund priest who's balding. He's got a thick mustache. You know him as Father Joseph Cooper. He is trying to calm down the other members of the clergy. No, this is this is clearly a warning of some kind, likely from the Night's Watch. And they must have some intel about a military action that may or may not be happening within our city. We have received something like this before, and well, I find it we should be prudent to heed their advice.
What advice did they give? What is it that we are supposed to do?
It says if we value our lives, we are not to walk the streets this night.
May I see the note, Father?
By all means, my miraculous sister.
Yes, and the whole time I'm acting like the sickly nun. Okay, and I take the note.
You take it. It reeks. It's filthy. It's written in not ink. It's some kind of organic substance. You would best guess that a number of insects were ground up and literally used as a membrane, an ink of sorts, to write this.
And I clearly see that it says unlife.
It doesn't say unlife on yours.
Doesn't? Okay. Is this something I would be familiar with, that I might have seen something similar to this before?
Why don't you give me, or
yeah,
you're having some difficulty seeing with your wonderful context.
Thank you.
Your dedication to character. So I will be making some of the rolls for my friend here tonight in good faith. It's going to be an intelligence, and I will use your academics.
I think I'm okay with both of those.
You are kind of a powerhouse, an absolute dynamo when it comes to these two rolls. At some point tonight, if you wish to rouse the blood, do the blush of life, you may. However, I will need a rouse check simply for you all waking.
Yes.
As well. You have scored 3 successes. That is enough to tell you that the handwriting on this is very similar to the infernal markings on the body of the man who the ghoul had brought for medical attention.
Well. That is an interesting letter. I hand the disgusting thing back to the father, Father Joseph.
It looks like he doesn't want to take it back, but he does because it's you. And you're not well. It seems such a shame that I cannot go out and do charitable acts this night. Well, we could have evening vespers, our evening prayer together, for a change.
If it's all the same to you, Father, I am not feeling quite well after touching that. Something does not sit right with me. I might go and sit in my quarters for some time.
The Lord be with you, sister.
And with you, Father.
He turns and leaves, doing his best to calm the others. They have seen you, the miracle woman who lives among them, the one who is sick, yet stalwart. You never seem to falter. Your condition never seems to change. You are a living miracle to them. By the grace of God, you endure by faith alone, or something else, but they don't know. You have passed your rouse check for this evening. My other players, would you please give me a rouse check to see if you get hungrier as you stir your blood to waken this night?
I succeed on mine.
As do
Good.
I.
In a hot minute, what is that?
It is one single die, and you'll see if you get 6 or above, it's a success, which means you will not get hungrier.
I got hungry.
You got a little hungrier. You are at 2. And Gamaliel, or Tzimisce, I'm guessing that is a success.
Yep.
He would drink the town dry anyway.
This is true.
Now, one person did not receive a note. He was not home. He left the salon. He went to the Abbey. You wake up in a cell. Behind you, on the beige-looking stone, very rough-faced, not like modern standards cell. It is very rough, barely construction material brick. It is hewn rock that someone has literally carved out of the basement of this house. There are very thick bars in front of you. The only window behind you, you could barely put your fist through. And it's covered in a substance that is paper and oil, because that is quite often the best and only window that many people in this time had. There is candlelight in this basement as you awaken.
Okay. This is very different than where I was. So where's the candlelight coming from?
There is a desk in the corner. It has a number of very unfortunate tools on it. Hooks and saws, thumb screws, blades, nails, hammer. In the corner, Min Neferet makes herself known to you, dropping off your skate. Arms and legs crossed, leaning against the back wall.
Sheriff. So,
Abbot.
I would say it's a pleasure to see you, but under these circumstances, it doesn't feel very pleasurable.
I would agree. I want to personally thank you for telling me and the rest of your group what happened. This is not about that.
Okay.
Down the stairs, you see Veronica in a similar dress to the one she wore to the salon. It is long, flowy, darker grays, but still with the spider golden silk embroidery throughout all of it. She's followed by Prince Saint Regis, who does not look as hospitable as he did when he took you on a tour of a sacred relic the night before.
Saint Regis.
Prince. His arms foldable, hold behind his back. He is wearing a crushed red velvet-looking robe. He does not look his whimsical, happy self.
This is this room. It's very different than the other rooms that you've showed me in the Abbey.
No relics here for you to burn, sir.
And fortunately not. Fortunately not.
Except perhaps this one. He pulls out a cross. My eyes are up here, sir.
The presence of the Lord must be respected at all times, St. Regis, as you know. I will respect you and look at you in your eyes, but I will not sully the Lord by...
Oh, please. I meet many kindred in my position. Occasionally, my own faith does bother other kindred, though none so powerfully as the faith of mortals, but no one has ever recoiled and had the effect that you had upon myself or that book, that relic. You claim that your ship takes a number of these relics from the Holy Land, and somehow you do deposit them to a number of domains throughout Europe. Yet, by witnessing you being in the very presence of one, it catches a flame as if in the presence of something unholy.
It's an interesting story.
I would love to hear this story.
Yes. May I regale our company with the rest of this story? It's compelling. Hearing your perspective is very compelling. Prince. Sir.
I wonder if your words will carry as much weight and volume as the priceless writings of St. Augustine of Hippo. I think not. I think these words will not be penned by anyone, be they your last or your best.
Those words were as worthless on the paper. And frankly, seeing it destroyed in such a way, very upsetting indeed.
You seem so upset.
Oh, why, yes. I brought down in the presence of such a holy relic just to have a angry prince lighted a flame in front of me.
My anger, indeed. You were saying that I lit this ablaze, and it wasn't your very presence. That is quite something, good sir. You know, it was quite the audacity for you to use whatever blood magic or gift of the blood to do what you did. However, Veronica here is quite the mage. And she had discovered that it was indeed an outsider's influence that caused such an outburst. A blood magic, a thaumaturgy, perhaps something else. We're going to find out what that was.
An outsider, you say? Because the moment I came to the salon, immediately talking about that strange stirring in this city that we've all felt, that now suddenly is being taken so seriously. When the moment I brought it up, the very moment I brought it up to you, Min, why, what stirring? A strange outsider, you say? Sure. I may be strange and I may be an outsider, but frankly, I take those stirrings seriously. I don't know what happened down there with such a valuable tome. The embarrassment that I felt meeting the prince for the first time, thinking that he became angry with me to show me something which I cannot look directly upon for my respect of the shadow of the Lord. For that's where I exist, in his shadow, for he has a greatness that is beyond all of us.
And what will you
say
when you meet your maker? Will you still turn away? You may find out this very night.
I may. But I do so without being put on trial. You say an outsider. Well, we recognize that there was an outsider. We've talked to you about the ghoul, Selena, the woman, the other ghoul who was attacked on the outsides of this city, in the woods, talks of bugs and demons, books ablaze, and you look at me and you tell me.
You arrived at the same time as these calamities.
And where was I when these calamities were happening?
Burning a very important holy tome.
The holy tome was in your hands, and I was in the presence of the Lord and a holy man who was very angry, and I misinterpreted perhaps what may have happened. But to say that I burnt this holy tome, why would a man who is so holy as I burn such an important tome?
Would you enlighten me? And hold this. He hands you a silver cross.
I don't pick it up. I keep my arms at my side. This is not a trial.
That's right. There's
This is
absolutely
not
no jury here, and there is absolutely no need for one. I am well within my authority.
Well, demons run amok outside the walls of your city. You stand here in front of me holding crosses, claiming that I burnt a book while feet away from you.
Yes.
I am not a witch. I was not blessed with such power.
Well, fortunately for us, Veronica was. Let me know what he is and what he has to say before the end. And he leaves and walks upstairs. At the docks, there is a specter of Sister Hildegard. Remind the audience, why did you leave your spectral sister at the docks?
Samuel the Nosferatu offered a host and information. Should I leave my sister to witness whatever it is to happen and report back to him through Dondini to Genoa?
That is all true. And as your sister, Brujah, her fetter is now a post by the docks. She sees something come very slowly out of the ocean. It's almost like a whale coming up to the surface for air, but it stops. A whale's hide is shiny. It reflects the moonlight. This devours whatever light is in its presence. And then a woman appears on the dock, cloaked, walking into Marseille, or sweet Marseille. And as she pulls her hood back and her mouth opens, the abyss and void billow out of her like a tangible cloud of ink, absorbing all light. She falls to the ground on her back, mouth open to the sky, as she herself is enveloped by oblivion. Abbot would hear from the inside of his cell noises of something cold and fleshy pushing through a membrane of reality itself. You can feel the stirring in you of the darkness, but it's different than your typical experience. It's something much more profound than the typical Lasombra meddling in the unknown. Tendrils reach throughout the streets and grab kindred from crypts, attics, basements, taverns, hotels, striking down mortals in their way who are trying to fend this abomination off of their kindred masters. All of them are pulled into the now gaping maw on the ground where this woman is no longer, pulled into oblivion itself. St. Regis runs back downstairs very quickly. At this point, Abbot, you are suspended from the ceiling by Veronica's silver threads as she's been torturing you for some time. The gate of your prison is warded against Canaanites. She has been pressing you against it for the last hour. It has been searing into your flesh. You've been taking aggravated damage as she takes sample after sample of your blood, gloating about how this is a bloodline she has never seen before. But at this time, she's interrupted as St. Regis bursts through the door, down the stairs, trying to hold the door shut. From your blood that is now on the floor, a number of small insects evolve out of your vitae itself. And on the floor, directly below you, spell out forgive me as I look at my notes because it's Latin. The sanctum of everlasting night. The bugs then scurry back into the pile of blood and dissolve. Regis screams at Veronica, "Drop whatever you're doing with him and seal this room. This entire town is going to hell."
That's what I've been saying.
One of those tendrils tries to get through and at first succeeds in getting through the paper and oiled waxed window behind you. But before it can clear the brick and grab you itself, your cell has been warded against Canaanites. The arms of oblivion do not reach you. They snake from under the doorway. 12 of them now fill the room. Regis is dodging them as best he can. Let's find out how well. He misses the first 3. The others blow right through Veronica's torso, impaling her. And through her, grab him, the tendrils going down his throat, grabbing his heart. He goes limp as a rag doll and is pulled up the stairs, into the street, down, into the abyss.
Not so angry anymore, are you?
You faint from hunger and blood loss and pain. And as the sun rises the next day, Marseille is a changed place. The wards on the doors of the coterie are gone. The abbot is still in his cell.
I'm so hungry.
The body of Veronica is still in the room. Cold, coagulated. It's something. Is it just out of your reach, Father?
I can't help myself, but I need to. I'm going to lunge my arm through the bars and try like a child reaching for a toy that's just out of grasp, and I'm trying to grow my arm with just will. Desperate. I'm so hungry.
It's just enough to grab a portion of her exquisite dress, magically made, as you drag the cold corpse of an awakened mage across a prison floor.
I slowly pull her limb by limb, parts of her dress, a leg, a foot, and I pull it into the cell with me
You feed.
like an animal.
You go back down to 1 hunger as you feed on necessity, we'll call it.
I am like a hopeful sponge going to try to squeeze any amount of fluid from this body as I can. The coagulation is cold and it's sickening, but it helps.
It does help.
Like a spider.
And now, the rest of the coterie, as you wake again, give me a rouse check, as we have time jumped a full night, being stuck at home. Something mortals in 2020 know quite well. It's not so much fun for a kindred. Although
hungry
Gamaliel,
again.
you're hungry again. You are at 3 hunger.
Have a success.
The man with the stocked fridge doesn't get hungrier. That's justice if I ever heard it.
I rolled a 7 on the dice roller online so I could see it.
That is a success.
I also succeeded.
Good. Once again, the only person to get hungrier is Violet. The plenty of thirst jokes ready to be fired off in our chat.
I'm always thirsty when Flair's around. What can I say?
I mean, there you go.
Who isn't?
Everyone is. Everyone likes a tall lady these days. Fleur, before you woke, as the sun rose, whatever retainers you may have would have noticed the sigils disappeared. A number of them went into the streets of Marseille and found unpleasant sights of mortals dead in the streets. A number of faces they knew. They come and report to you, Gamaliel, Violet, Hildegard, as your brothers and sisters in the faith have gone out. They tell a very sad tale that something wicked, unholy, has befallen Marseille. And 1/8 of its population lays dead in the streets.
I have not heard back from Brujah.
You would have to retrieve her.
I go to the dock. Toot sweet.
You arrive. Your sister is of spirit. She looks so shaken. Sister.
I reach for her to bring her back into me like a hug.
She grabs both of your hands And before you know it, she is once again merged into the marrow of your undead bones, filling your insides. You feel stronger, more alive with her than without her. It's almost unbearable being without. You don't know how other kindred do it. And you feel her fear and sadness is palpable as she regales you with a tale of something that she had not seen as she experienced the other side, the Shadelands, the Sea of Storms, where a whirlpool consumes the souls of many of the dead. She's told you bits and pieces in the past, so not in so much detail to destroy the faith you may still have in your Christian Lord, but enough to make your resolve towards saving souls while their hearts still beat. It's important. This is worse than what she saw there.
I do my best to give her calm and peace, and try to unburden her as much as I can. And I take her back to our temporary home.
Almost as if she was made of almost like a coat hanger in your body, helping to support your own very soul. You feel that she is not quite right. It's almost like her support and her spiritual power are now more leaning on you like a wet cloth on a clothesline in the wind than a secondary skeleton of some kind.
Then I must do my best to wring her out.
Violet, LaFleur comes home. I am just happy that we heeded that warning. I don't know what would have happened to you or me if we stepped outside last night.
I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have you, so sentiment is the same. Unfortunately, I have a small hunger issue.
Let's take care of that right away.
Please.
She hugs you with an intense, like if you were mortal, you would not be breathing. She practically knocks the wind out of you. She's very tall and very strong, but it's strangely comforting. All right. Come on, mon petit. Let's find you something.
Let's go see if there is someone nearby who is a little tired. I would like to drink from them.
Not far. One of the laborers, a serf, who is trying to put as many of the dead on a cart to pull outside of the city into some makeshift mass graves they have been digging. He is taking a break by a raspberry bush, trying to regain his strength as he sees you and LaFleur walk down the path towards him. His face, he looks hopeless, exhausted, dirty. Mrs. de Claret.
Wait,
It is I, Roland. I'm so happy you were one of the ones who made it, my lady.
I'm so happy to see you. How have things been? Not so good, but how are you?
My family as well. They survived.
I'm glad.
this is a day that our city will never forget. And I pray we recover.
You should go and rest. You've had a long day.
It's a good idea. He gets up, grabs his shovel, and begins to walk past you.
So I wait a little bit because I know where he is.
Mhm.
I turn on obfuscate.
Okay.
And I can walk and be invisible. Go to his place and peer in to see if he is fast asleep.
It doesn't take him long. He's out like a light. He's been working 12, 14 hours every second of precious daylight. Tomorrow, he's likely going to sleep in a little bit, but it's good for him. You don't feel too bad about this.
He's a good man, so I make my way in quiet as can be, and I take a drink.
It is the most melancholic thing you've tasted in your entire life. The depression, the fear. It's so palpable that for the remainder of the evening, you feel a temporary increase to your own abilities to hide yourself, as this man and his soul and his emotions want to do nothing but hide from the world, crawl under a rock, and pray that things will be better. You go down to one hunger as you leave his small home. His floor waits for you outside.
I take her hand.
So you do. Asta Sorensen, what are you up to?
I would. Two nights ago was very odd. So my train of thought would be to return to where it was. So I will leisurely make my way down to where the salon had been. And I'm just going to take in all of this surrounding environment of what has happened, what people are doing in the streets, what has been going on throughout the day, because I am just very interested in what has happened. I'm not in an overly big rush to meet up with others, but I am very curious to learn as much as I can as soon as I can. So I will have to make a compromise.
You see a number of people working through grief and shock in different ways. This is important to you. This is something that you try to take a note of quite often. I'm not going to make you roll for it because there's enough of it to see that even if you failed once, you would have a number of different people to watch, emotions to emulate, data to gather. But as you return to the salon, you do see a survivor among your kind, Salah, the Iberian Sedite advisor, who briskly walks up to you. Hey, I am Salah.
Asta Sorensen.
Yes, I saw you not but 2 nights ago. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. Are we the only two?
I have not seen any others yet. All I have seen are the decimation of the population as I made my way here. But
When I
none like
pass-
us.
Might I pass on something I've discovered to you?
Indeed.
Gets close and whispers into your veil. I believe the prince is dead. It seems they're all dead.
All of them.
I had heard that the man you know, named Abbot, was abducted by Day for questioning. If he lives, he may very well be in the sheriff's chamber underneath the prince's home. If the prince really is dead, we could find out for ourselves. What do you say?
I think I would be amenable to that. One, to see if our prince is dead, and two, to see if we can get some answers to whatever's happened.
Do you wish to lead the way?
I think I can do that.
As you make your way through the streets of Marseille towards the Prince's Haven, we then cut to Gamaliel. Oddly enough, many of your mortal contingents, they don't really give a shit about going out all day. They're busy living what life they have at night. But the ones who do step outside come to you immediately and seek your wisdom and your power.
What's so scary outside? You come to me.
My family, we have a cousin on the Knight's Guard. He is dead. His family witnessed him being cut down by snakes made of night, dragging people of your kind through the streets into a pit they were not seen or heard from again. It seems the good part of our city has been taken with them.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Let's prepare my character. I think I'm gonna witness this with my own eyes. Until then, why don't you relax, drink something, read some poetry, enjoy yourself. People die every day, and as sad as it is, you can't waste your small life with something like that.
The words of wisdom fill his ears. You're right. That dead cousin would be much happier knowing that I was partying and enjoying the life that wasn't cut short.
Exactly. Was it Malflies or something like that live for such short instances? You gotta live.
He departs and tells other servants to ready your carriage as he goes and joins the revelry in the lower part of your mansion, where the most delectable of your creations exists.
Floor 2.0. Yeah. Even thicker. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be like, hey, all right, everyone, I need 4 of my sexiest of individuals for this escapade out. We're going to witness the dead and maybe get some information. So come on, chop chop.
A Greco-Roman wrestling team practically follows you
Oh, yeah.
into your carriage.
Amazing. Oh, God.
Piled up, ready to wrestle.
God damn. All right, let's do this. and do other things while we're witnessing. I want to watch while we continue to enjoy each other. I think both will be very nice. Yeah.
The carriage is a rocking as it goes down the road. It's not just the cobblestones causing it to sway. At this point, we do see Asta with a Iberian man in tow, Violet, and the unmistakable Fleur. You can see her from a mile away.
Hmm.
And Sister Hildegard returning from the docks.
All right. Let's pick them up.
The three of you see an unmistakable carriage of, aside from the mortal prince, what is the richest man in town. The floor instantly goes to Violet. There's no way I can fit in that. I'll walk the rest of the way.
I think we know who has that vehicle, and honestly, I don't even want to step on there for obvious reasons. Why him?
I don't
Why
know.
them?
Of course they had to live.
I swear you can smell the specs from a mile away.
Hmm.
All right, we should probably exchange pleasantries at least, but not in the pleasant way that he wants. They want. So we walk over to the O2 familiar vehicle.
Hmm. Hello. How are you doing?
Oh, just peachy. Things are looking grim as ever.
So it seems.
You did a note?
Yeah, I threw it in the fire. It
Oh,
seems.
same.
Yeah. Where are you going? And why are you walking?
Don't you love a stroll through the pale moonlight? Stars are beautiful at this time.
I don't like going anywhere unless something's whipped.
I know. But I like my style a little bit more differently, and a good stroll through the night on a night like tonight is sometimes needed. Where are you going?
Oh, just I thought I'd watch the bodies, maybe enjoy myself in ways concerning these bodies that some might look down on. But for me, I think it's a celebration of death and maybe even a celebration of life. Regardless, I am now curious about your perspective, so I'm going to exit this carriage and I will walk with you. Does that sound
Alright.
satisfactory?
That is. You can enjoy the stars and understand my perspective from
Excellent.
the moonlight, especially how it hits all around us.
Awesome. He's going to open the door and carefully place whatever individual is currently wrapped around his body and just kind of set them on the couches and the cushions.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. Go home. All right. Go home.
You owe me one.
I know. I will make it worth your while.
Always
Maybe
do.
the hooks or something. Yeah.
Hooks.
Yes. Okay. You four, my favorites. Leave. Go. All right. Where are we going?
As if the carriage is on fire or the home is on fire and they need to get home. They are rushing back.
Got a little subservient one there, huh?
Everyone wants to lick your feet when you offer them everything.
I haven't wanted to lick your feet yet, so I don't know. That's a little different for me.
Yeah, I haven't offered you everything yet. I've only given you a fraction.
Oh, well.
Though I do hope you're enjoying the floor.
Always.
Well, there you go. A fraction of what I can offer.
Anyhow, let's go on into the city. Something's drawing me in. I can't really explain it, but I think we should check back at where we were the night prior.
Fine. Have you heard about the city? Is everyone okay? Specifically, those in positions of power.
That
My
I
heart
am.
beats with concern concerning their well-being.
Oh, I bet. I have not heard anything. I've only heard about destruction everywhere else. So, political figures may or may not be intact depending on how smart they were, and we all know how politicians are.
I am now excited. Let's go.
I bet.
Before long, you do see the sister and Asta.
Oh, sister. Asta.
Oh, there you are.
God. Every time I look upon you, you come out of the shadows like a blooming flower.
I walk over to Asta and grab her hands. So good to see you. How are you?
I am partially disturbed and also interested.
That sounds about the same here. Did you receive a gruesome note?
Gruesome is too much of a word. It was different. We'll go with that for now. But we were on our way to the prince's estate to see if he still lives.
That is good to know.
Well, got
Alright.
to letter then.
Stronger in numbers, as they say.
Do you still have the letters you received?
No, someone leaves a bag of shit on my door, I burn it.
It was quite
Usually
gross.
they leave it burning.
Do they? Not at my establishment, no.
You're luckier than us in Southspec.
I'm not lucky, I'm rich. And I worked very hard for that.
The lettering, was it disgusting?
Yes.
very.
Incredibly.
I believe it may have been something involved with that cage girl that we dealt with the other night, and that whole story we never really looked into.
That the night did go on. We should definitely see if she's possibly alive.
I somehow think not. But
I do believe so.
Who cares? It's just a ghoul. Let's see
I
if the
tend
prince
to
is
agree with
alive.
you for
You
once, Gamaliel.
Speak like that in front of your own creation.
Yes.
I look at Fleur. You're not just some ghoul. And I kiss her hand.
Oh, she's more than a ghoul, of course. He
Something
created her,
special. Of course, yeah.
just like I am special to God.
As am I, apparently.
Of course, all are welcome. But
And LaFleur is very special.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
I do tend to agree we should go see how our host is doing and make sure the prince is still alive and has indeed perhaps some information about what has happened.
Oh. Violet, I have one question, if you don't mind.
Oh, of course.
You know, in any relationship, right, there's you want an equivalency of power. Any disparity might toss a relationship asunder. With that in mind, why haven't you sired LaFleur?
When the right time comes, maybe I
When
will.
is the right time? She's currently perfect. She will never get more perfect than at this moment right now, this year. Why are you waiting?
It is her decision when she chooses.
LaFleur, what do you think? Do you want to rise up in your station, be an equal with Violet?
Perhaps not on a day as dark as this. But
This
I would like
day-
to savor the night as you all do.
Ooh, that's good. Today is no different than it was yesterday, and tomorrow will be no different either. The body count has changed. That's it. It's nothing special. You should definitely bring the issue up when you have some more private time with Violet. I wouldn't want this relationship to sour just because you weren't provided the opportunity that love should offer.
She leans in closer to you. It's not only about when I am ready, but when my mistress is ready.
Oh, God. You are so perfect, it almost breaks my heart.
You would know.
I've played with that heart, yes. Continue to do your beautiful work. I adore you so much.
And at that, we have reached the prince's domain. Now would be a perfect time for us to take a short break, come back refreshed, ready to go for part 2 of our mysterious night together. Quick shout out while we have you all here. There's a Kickstarter we are supporting very much right now. It's called Necrobiotic. It is from our good friend Mitchell Wallace. Penny for a Tale. Please take a look at Necrobiotic. There's a number of fantastic people who are dear friends of ours working on this project, Mitch included. I believe it is now fully funded.
Yeah.
Me and my friends at Gehenna Gaming will be writing a Kickstarter stretch goal for this fantastic book. But check it out for yourself. It is truly one of a kind, and I think it is something you will absolutely enjoy. Until then, we will be right back. Thank you.
Bye.
to the Dark Ages, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition chronicle on Gehenna Gaming, Twitch, and eventually on our YouTube channel. Thank you all for your support and your time as you join us in telling this tale set in southern France, Marseille, in 1198. Let's cut back to what our dear cast just left off at. They have arrived at the home of Prince Saint Regis. May he rest in peace wherever he may be. Trying to find some news about him. Maybe they might even find an abbot in the basement. No one can be too sure. Regardless, I will leave the scene to my very capable friends.
I will approach the door and give it a hard knock.
It sways open.
That's not disconcerting.
That's an
Not at
invitation if I've
all.
ever seen one.
That's not a Nosferatu, is it?
I will motion everybody else to go in ahead of me.
Yeah. Do, 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 do.
From behind Asta, there is a gentleman with a very thin mustache, a very black, pointy, but longer beard. Wearing clothes that are golden, emerald, carries himself like a diplomat, speaks with a Spanish accent. It is very good that you have all come tonight. I was just walking with Asta. I heard the news that our dear prince may have been one of those who fell victim to whatever the heck happened last night.
Salah, is that correct?
Salat.
I don't know that we've had the pleasure, but I have heard enough, I believe. And
My
I
name
reach
is-
out my hands.
And shakes yours. I am Salam. I was an additional spiritual advisor, an Ashen priest to Saint Regis, as he could not both fulfill his princely duties and his spiritual duties to Marseille. I am a diplomat originally from Iberia. However, our close connection to both Toulouse, Nice, and Marseille means I spent a lot of time, a great deal of time, in all of these different domains across Provence and Occitane.
It is a pleasure to meet you. We should probably make sure the prince is okay. But I have a bad feeling about this.
Do not believe I have had the pleasure of meeting your other two friends. Asta, I know, we recently. have
I'm
met.
so sorry. I am Sister Hildegard, and this is Violet de Claret. That is Lady Fleur, and this, of course, is Gamaliel.
Enchanté. He kisses both of your hands, even Mitchell's, even
Damn right.
Chamomille's.
And Gamaliel, you would probably be the one to notice. Sister's got some eyes on this man.
Mm. Well, that is interesting. Well, let us confirm whether or not the prince is alive. I'm very curious about this.
Do you have political aspirations already, Gamaliel?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. No, I have political foundations, political lusts, ambitions, more than a whisper, slightly a yell.
And anything that falls in between is still likely to be very entertaining.
One can hope.
One can hope. But yeah,
Quick
I-
question, my dear new friend. If you ever come upon a nun on their knees, is this something that arouses you? Do you feel blood?
It's a direct question, but I will answer it. Yes.
That is good to hear.
It
Well.
is important to believe in something higher than oneself.
That is true. I have been receiver and the giver in such an exchange, and I do enjoy it when I am on my knees and I get to look up. There's something very captivating about the human form from that vantage point.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I'm very excited about meeting you. Very, very excited.
And I you.
If you want, I would like to invite you to my domicile this night.
Let us first make certain that what happened last night will not be the end of us this eve.
Sure. If that worries you, well, let's deal with that first. I'd rather you happy and comforted. All right. Let's do this.
Sister has rosary in her hand and just starts going, woohoo. Anyone here?
Only the thirsty, apparently. Let's go look for the prince.
A number of the prince's retainers are dead and slaughtered throughout the entire manse.
Hello.
Is
Abbot
there
Aldrich.
anyone here?
The prince sucks.
Wow.
Hello?
Violet.
That is very bold, Violet. Did you just hear something?
I think I did. I felt, well, if nobody's coming, I should say something that might anger him. So let's go to that
would-
noise.
Violet, I would caution any sort of insult to the position of prince, even as a joke.
Okay, fine.
I'm surprised at you, Gammon.
What? I am a kindred of honor and tradition, and princehood is our most sacred of roles.
You are very.
How many princes? Never mind. Let's go.
Hello. Is someone there?
The prince does not suck.
It's only I that sucks.
Oh, I think that's
Oh,
Abbot.
God. That is a charming. That sounds like an Abbot in desperation.
Gamaliel, I think that is for you.
That is for me. If you don't mind, I will deal with this matter myself.
I will search upstairs and see if there's anyone else.
Excellent. Divide and conquer, as it were.
Split the
Asta, do you want to go and search together?
Sure, I don't see any problem with that.
All right.
I will watch the front door. Discretion is often the better part of valor. I am very hard to see. I will make sure that if anything from the streets happens to crawl its way through here, that you will be alerted.
I also look to Fleur and be like, please take care of the sister. I'm good, in good hands. I promise.
Thank you, Mademoiselle Violet. And thank you, Monsieur Senna.
He gives a half bow.
Dankeschön. Fleur, with me.
Gamaliel,
Yeah.
you head down 2 sets of stairs to a chiseled out basement. The embers of candle about to go out as they burn down as far as they will go, you see a... Well, Abbot, what do they see?
The abbot is on the ground of the cell with a hunk of flesh in his hand that he's suckling on desperately. His shadow is cast in such a way that makes him look far more sinister than you're used to seeing. There seems to be as if the shadow of the Almighty is basking him in a blanket of comfort as he sucks on the flesh of the witch, chunks of her taken out. Hello?
Shh. Quiet. And he'll begin the process of turning or putting out all the torches and light.
Is that you, G?
Yeah, it is.
I was saved by him.
By whom?
The shadow.
Shadow. Well, now I'm jealous. And here you are in a cage. And I'm jealous. And you're sucking on... What is this?
Veronica.
Take that out of your mouth. You don't know where it's been.
It's cold.
And disgusting. You need something warm and delicious, my dear Abbot.
When we met that ghoul, I didn't realize that I would be the one in the cage. My brothers, where have you seen my brothers?
As far as I know, everyone's dead.
Of course they are. The prince?
Probably dead. Did you see something?
No. I was questioned by the sheriff and they're mortal.
A mortal. Questioning a kindred.
I was put on trial, G.
Wow. How about this? When I tell you to come over, you fucking come over.
Get me out of here.
Would you like something sweet to suck on first? Maybe regain a semblance of your honor.
I can't get the taste of cadaver out of my mouth. It doesn't taste the same.
No, it doesn't. Let me help you. And he'll slide his hand forward. Come, come.
And I'll jump on Gamaliel's wrist and bite hard.
Yes. Brings me back.
Yeah. Get me out of here.
Of course. And he'll open the cage.
You are always so calm and collected, G. How come?
I
You
have everything I want, and no one can take it from me. And now here you are, so beautiful. Just two boys in the dark. I find my heart giddy.
You've always been bigger than me, stronger than me. Fearless, even. I'm sorry.
There's no reason to apologize. I'm just glad you are safe. And if it were not the fact that those who inhabited this home are most likely dead, I would have finished the job in your name.
My Magdalene in shining armor, you're always saving me.
Tonight you stay at my place. Now, let's go upstairs and confirm that which I hope. My beautiful, beautiful Abbot.
I'm going to grab the flesh and put it in my pocket and follow.
Those of you who are searching the manse, who went upstairs?
I believe Fleur and I have gone upstairs. And I would like to activate Sense the Unseen.
Okay. While you were upstairs, you can make an intelligence and occult roll if you wish. I can make the roll for you because
Oh,
I know.
thank you. I could do the one rouse die.
We suffer for art. You're very French.
Yeah.
4 successes.
Oh, excellent. Sounds good.
There is a tome on the shelf sticking out. It looks as though there is a parchment in between the pages. The book itself, the binding is locked to the bookcase, much like many of the other books on the shelf and books of this time period. As you pull it out, you find a letter from St. Regis addressed to Jerome Tutain. It says, "My dear child, how could you do this to me? Why did you leave me so? It rends my heart in two. I have made great progress on our discovery. The everlasting man. It gives what the Grail never could. I drank from him and suffered no effects as I did with the Grail. Yet he rebuked me and fled into the cave." How Platonic of him, no? "I demand you return at once. Regis, your sire."
Am I familiar with that name, Jerome?
He was and is a neonate, practically Ancilla, child of the prince. The last you had heard, he had been sent, well, he went on his own. He has left his prince's tutelage, went to Barcelona to try and make his own way in the world, leaving whatever it was that Regis had going on in limbo, so to speak. He has not been seen in at least a week.
But I don't know him personally.
If you had met him, which you likely have in one of the many salons you've attended, he is strikingly beautiful, much like the Toreador. Almost has a biblical Jesus appeal to him. And he's quite kind-hearted. kinder than Regis in many ways. Perhaps his youth and tie to humanity.
I will take the letter and tuck it into my habit somewhere, my habit pockets. And I want to look at the book. Is there any significance to the book?
The book is a collection of writings about the New Testament. All of the pages specifically reference Lazarus, the man who died twice.
I will take that book as well.
As you quickly glance through the pages, it seems like Regis and an order stamped with a seal. It says the Order of Bitter Ashes were obsessed with finding relics, including this living relic. A man, they say, may not die again. Regis is in his own notes, as you skim through a little bit, seem to imply that this may be the key to perhaps reversing the curse of Cain, the man cursed to walk the earth forever. As Lazarus is a man blessed from the grave, perhaps to walk the earth forever. The anti-Cain.
The story is not unknown to me, so I will just take what they know and I will add it to what I know. And I will continue to look around for anyone or anything that looks sus.
Asta and Violet, where in the manse did you choose to investigate?
I think we just looked around since Asta went up, or since Sister went up. I want to look at the first floor and also turn Sense the Unseen on.
Beautiful. Asta, you followed?
I do.
The first level is primarily for what intents and purposes, it's a mortal dog and pony show. It is a kitchen filled with food, not often cooked. It's immaculate for that same reason. There's a library, a sitting area. Like any place in medieval Europe, the ventilation is poor, and whenever light was turned on, whether hearth or for cooking or for simply light, there is a residue of smoke clinging to many of the surfaces. You can see on the floor that there is a path that someone has tread many, many times, one going close to the fireplace itself. One of the stones on that fireplace is somehow devoid of soot and dust, where the rest are.
Well, can I take a closer look at that?
You may. Let's have ourselves a roll for you.
Okay.
Oh, intelligence and occult.
Mother, I didn't grab dice.
You didn't grab dice? I can roll for you.
No. I didn't. I dropped my dice. I'm being smart.
Oh,
Don't worry. Intelligence and occult.
yes. Many of you are like an F-16 fighter jet when it comes to intelligence and occult. You got some smarty pants in this group.
Anything above a 6?
Correct.
1 success. Actually, wait, no, 2. Sorry.
As you look at it, there is a language inscribed. Can't quite make it out.
Do you see that writing?
Writing, and I will come closer to see what Violet is talking about.
Much like she saw, there is a stone on the fireplace that looks like hands with a human or canine interaction has wiped away the smoky residue that blankets this and many of the indoor residents of a typical Dark Ages home. Someone's been fiddling with this quite a bit. Asta, as you look to your feet, it looks as though on the wooden floor there are dark spots.
As in like footprints or just actually on the wood themselves?
It looks like a liquid of some kind dropped and stained the wood itself.
I will kneel down to inspect what it is closer, and I'll run my hands through it to see what if anything comes up.
As you run your finger across it and look at it on your skin, it is sooty like any home, but it looks like kindred vitae.
What you got there?
Blood of somebody.
Oh, that's one step closer. And Violet's gonna go look back at the writing and just like curiously like touch that brick, just see if it does anything.
It gives way for a moment, but no further.
Hmm.
You see almost faintly, because of your sense the unseen, that there is something inscribed there. The closer your own kindred biology got to it, it almost illuminated for a brief moment.
There is something up. Like at the tip of my tongue. I can't reach whatever it is that this is. There's some writing. I can't read it. It's in a different language, and maybe the sister might be able to help us with this one. She seems to know many things and clearly knows a satanic symbol, and I cannot, at this time, I can't read what that is.
You said that when Violet came closer, that to her it came out as something different, like something happened.
Yes.
Can I make an intuitive leap from the blood on the floor to the brick?
You absolutely may.
I will actually curl my hand into a fist and bite my nails into my palm, forcing vitae to the surface. And then I will run my fingers across the stone.
It illuminates immediately with
Am I seeing
Aramaic.
this too?
You are. With Aramaic, that says the blood is the life. And as soon as the blood hits the stone, it almost disintegrates and gives way. There is a small pocket chamber beyond where the stone once was, big enough to reach your hand into.
Would you do the honors? You did open this. Or
Sure.
would you like me?
I'll take the risk and I will reach in and see if there's anything inside.
You feel something small, circular, hollow, and metallic, resting on what feels like an animal fur. A pelt, per se.
I will grasp all of it into my hand very gently and pull it out from its pocket.
As you pull it out, it is what appears to be a wedding ring. As you turn the fur over, there is writing with calligraphy and ink. It says it is the wedding band of Raquel the Martyr.
Does that name ring any kind of bell?
Yeah, to either of us.
For both of you, it would, because you are both tied into the occult, history, academics, and you're both Canaanites. Raquel is a little-known saint from a small region in Britain. Her stories were scattered, but the monsters she fought purposely destroyed any documents accounting of her, which is why she's not venerated in the church, which often happens with many of the faithful. But you both know that the story was she was married to a pagan king, or she was married, but a pagan king wanted her. So she demanded that she break her vows and marry him. In reality, this pagan king was an Einhar Viking Canaanite. A prince, even. She resisted him, and through the power of her faith, she raised that region's vampire population to dust. She was later martyred, accused of witchcraft. When she burned, the wedding band, a simple thing made of wood, did not burn and would not burn. They say she herself did not burn until after she made an impassive speech and allowed the flames to take her. This is a relic that, to the beliefs and minds of many Canaanite, believe that to this day, wearing this ring makes you immune to fire.
Is this what I think it is?
I will look at it closely and I'll also bring it to Violet. I think it might be, but I'm wary of putting so much faith into this. But maybe the sister or the abbot, if we find him, if he's all right downstairs, would be able to tell us more.
That is true. That is so interesting. I never thought I'd see something like that, and I've been everywhere, almost.
Though it does not surprise me that the prince kept it in his home.
In
If it
his
is a
kitchen, no
truly,
less.
I suppose you have to keep things somewhere, especially where those may not particularly look for them.
It's true. Who would look in the kitchen for kindred?
And if this ring is truly able to make one immune to fire, to keep it above the fireplace would be almost poetic.
It would be on brand for the prince.
Does sound about right. It has been a moment. Let us check on the others real quick.
Yeah,
See
make
what's
sure
going
they're
on.
okay. To us, to sister, or to the basement?
Let's try the sister first. Give the other two their time.
I'm sure they have a lot to talk about.
I'm sure they will come up when they are ready.
Yeah.
So we'll start heading upstairs to meet the sister.
Perfect. Cutting back to Abbot and Gamaliel. What are you two gentlemen doing?
Well, I'm feeling very refreshed after tasting Gamaliel. I feel more in control of myself. I'm very interested in what exactly happened. You said they're all dead.
A lot of people died last night.
How?
Tentacles, black and dark.
Tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
It really was him.
Who?
Gee. You talk about my faith like it's a joke sometimes.
It is. But I love you anyway.
And I you. But this is not a joke. The shadow of the Almighty has swept through this town, this city. And I feel, relieved that my selfish soul was saved, but at what cost? I also feel that perhaps I am the reason.
That you orchestrated this yourself?
No, I can't. I can't orchestrate the Almighty. I wish I could. But I am his servant. And the powers of this town, at least a few, have disrespected me 3 times. I need to pray on this. I'm sorry.
Pray on this. What advantage are you hoping to accomplish this night? Let's say, for instance, the prince is dead. Half the court's gone. What are you going to do?
Well, we are in an abbey. Is that correct? Storyteller?
This is actually not the Abbey of St. Victor. This is a private residence that Regis held. Many of his feeding vessels, the massive herd that he had cultivated, and oddly enough, forced many of the kindred inhabitants of this area to feed on exclusively, which made him many an enemy, lived in that abbey.
Well, in any event, the abbey needs to be. It must be restored and cared for. It is not. What is anyone going to do? But if there's a city without an abbey, without someone to mind that abbey, and a representative of the Almighty to help bring this town back to its glory after such a tragedy.
I don't think God should have anything to do with the restoration of this city. I think before you is the church and monument to what faith can bring you.
Faith can bring me power, G.
Faith is a child sucking at the teat.
Yes, and it's I'm no longer a child. I'm reborn. I'm grown. Made anew. All of those symbols, the crosses and the books, it's all an affront to the Almighty. I would cleanse. Tonight was a cleansing. What would you do, G, in your giant house?
I
What
would
have you?
make this town better than what it was.
How?
We don't need God. We don't need an abbot. We just live and we watch centuries pass on as we rule mankind and guide it from the shadows.
But don't you see what better way to rule over than with those toys, those symbols, using the Almighty like a hammer.
All faith dies out. God is nothing new. It's very old. And
Yes,
this
it is.
concept of God is new and shiny, and it pleases some people. But there will be a time when people look at God and shrug. That time is limited. The things that are base in mankind, that is what I want to be a part of, because that never changes. Your
There is
God's
a-
going to die.
There is a power, though, that exposes your fears. It is a tool. God is more ancient than all of us. The Almighty casts such a long shadow through space and time into things that have been quiet. And the only way that we can save this town, save this world, is to ensure that they are all well aware of what their fears are, the type of people that they are, the corruption that lives inside of them, and that they are protected by the blanket of the Almighty. And if they go against that, that protection goes away.
Is there a body around, Storyteller?
There is. It's missing a leg,
Excellent.
but on the floor is the body of the once and no longer a mage, Veronica.
Gamaliel will pick it up and put his fist through its face and then start pounding it against the wall until it's a bloody mess.
It's no different from any other mortal body. The spark's gone.
Abbot, this talk of God inspires fury in me. I do not like that this thing has you. Maybe we should change the subject.
I hope one day you understand, G. But yes, let's change the subject.
And as you change the subject, Sister Hildegard sees Asta and Violet coming up the stairs.
I'm like stacking books in Fleur's arms. Oh, she'll want this one. Yes, for sure. Yes. Mm.
You're sure?
Oh, yes, of course.
There's a
Look
lot of books.
And
Why don't you just move in here? He's probably dead.
I'm. It's awful. Don't you want to make her happy?
She'd be happier if she had a place to put this stuff. There's a lot of books.
She likes books. And I keep looking at the books.
Who likes books? I'll
What?
say as we come up.
I found some tomes that I thought the both of you would be very interested in. This one is about algebra.
Oh, my enemy.
Well, yeah, you
The
can read
basic
all about
concept
it.
of algebra is your enemy.
Oh, me and the numbers have a difficult task, but we do science because we need to.
So I found no ghosts and I found no prints, but I found books.
Books are good. I do like books.
Are any of the books relevant to the situation at
And then
hand?
when Violet says I do like books, I kind of nudge Fleur like told you. As for Asta, well, for that, yeah, there are some very interesting books here that may help with not necessarily this situation, but there's that other little thing about the demon and the vampire, we might be able to work it out.
That is definitely way more interesting than algebra. But sister, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. What did you guys find?
I think it would be better shared with everybody as to not repeat ourselves. And it is quite interesting.
Very.
Oh, all right. Well, we should go downstairs and interrupt whatever lovely moment they are having. And yeah.
I think that would be best.
Yes,
Let's
good
go.
idea.
Shall we ask for Salam to join us?
Possibly. Also, before we go, I still have Sense the Unseen, right?
Mhm.
Is there anything in this area that is particularly calling out, or is there actually like a stack of books that the sister had that is coming out good?
There's definitely a stack of books, one of which is catching your eye more than the others.
I go over to that.
It's a book of demonology. About
That's old hat.
the Carpathian Mountains and the lore and legends of Kapala.
I take the book and I bring it with me, and I turn to the sister and say, "I think I'll take this one just on my own behalf.
Of course.
Thank you
Look.
for the rest, though. Thank you."
The floor breathes a sigh of relief that there's one less book to carry.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
And the sister will march downstairs.
At this point, you likely see Gamaliel and Abbot coming up from the basement.
Abbot, hello.
Sister, you're safe.
alive.
I rush to the abbot and I take his little hands in mine.
And I hold and cup the sister's hands with mine. I am so happy to see that you're alive.
And were you here this whole time?
Yes, I will.
Did you see what happened?
No, I was being assaulted and questioned by a witch.
Oh, her. Great.
Yes.
Oh.
It's
Oh.
pleasant.
Very pleasant. Like
Is there-
spiders.
Is there only one witch?
Well, there's no more witches anymore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. There was the one we saw at the salon, but I wasn't sure if this was a different one you were speaking of.
Yes, she's not
Shall
going to
I-
be a problem anymore.
Well, how about the prince? Have you seen him?
No.
I immediately recognize that trauma. And I just pat your little chest and understood.
A shout
Oh.
from the doorway as Salah says, "We have company."
Oh.
All right. Gamaliel will head outside.
Yeah, but we'll follow.
Oh, he's so brave, isn't he?
Very, I think he's showing off.
I trot along behind the abbot.
On the ground, cobblestone street, there is a pentagram that has been burned into the cobblestone. Before you stands a very short man, 5'6", but large. His robe is barely containing him. He has silver hair and a widow's peak, small, thin, beak-like nose, with no facial hair, many different rings on his hands, and necklaces of pendants and amulets from Kabbalah to Druid. Many different occult origins. But most importantly, embroidered into his robes is the symbol of Clan Tremere. And Elliot would recognize him as Gervais, the regent of Clan Tremere in France.
My dear kindred, what brings you here?
Devastation, young one.
Yeah, that is a word.
We have much to discuss,
Much.
to cover up. As Prince Alphonse and his wife and the rest of the mortal court have seen things that will spread, if not contained.
We can't have that.
No, we cannot have that.
Well, what are we going to do? Or what would you like us to aid you with?
There are a number of our clanmates who were assigned to Marseille from Prince Alexander of Clan Ventrue, the 4th generation. We are to immediately make them forget, find a cover story, and preserve the secret of blood. But through our discerning magics, it would appear the prince here and any of the other kindred besides those I see before me are dead.
That is what we have also come to a conclusion with. There's nobody here but us.
Nature abhors a vacuum. I cannot be in two places at once. We will come up with this cover story. The mortals will do as the mortals do. They will rebuild. They'll mourn.
What do the mortals think happened?
The same things I've heard, I imagine.
Okay.
Some shadowy kraken attacked this place.
Do we want them to think that is the case?
Something to be discussed, surely. The more they believe in the supernatural, the worse it often is for us. And if you intend to remain here, and that little rumor that something is special and different and in needing of being put down by God's holy crusaders, then you will find yourselves knee deep in the worst the church has to offer.
That sounds like an understatement.
You will wish for krakens. I would like to avoid that.
As would I.
I may. Wolves are quick. And when they are especially hungry, they move so fast, traumatically so. When your loved one is taken from you, ripped from your arms, with jaws, black hair, limbs that seem almost ethereal in nature, but simple wolves. It sounds like we have a wolf problem in Marseille.
Well, that is a good idea. Do we have any friends of the night that could make that believable? Other than word of mouth.
We have the power and backing of a Canaanite god who sits on a throne in Paris.
Very well.
It will happen. If you think that is what they will believe, then that is what we will do.
I know the simple folk around here, they are very kind, but they are not quite bright, especially as minds like ours. I believe wolves will be very, very believable for them, if anything. Add a little dramatics for a few nights to compel them to think they heard some noises along those lines. Wolves will work.
While more of the common kind will be able to believe that, I do know that some of the mortals will not believe that an eighth of the population were decimated in a single night by a pack of wolves. There
That
will
is
have
the
to be
other.
something else. We will have to have something else accommodate to that.
And what would you suggest?
Well, the girl, the cage girl, she had mentioned that the shapeshifters were seen near the incident that she mentioned to us, and that they were cut down. So, come from Salzburg, are there any rumors around here of lupine? Perhaps it is more than just wolves.
From what I've been told,
They don't know that they were cut down.
many of the lupine population in our country, it's not what it used to be. Something worse is in the forests these nights.
Yes, we have encountered something of that as well.
I'm making an observation as I see you talk and bringing up these points for your city. And one of the reasons I've been sent here is because nature abhors a vacuum. If word gets out, this place is not under control. The Ashira, the Iberians, the Genoans, the Voivodes, any number of our kindred cousins will simply move in here, plant their flag, and take it over. There must be a fast secession of power.
I believe that, that is a very salient point why Gamaliel and I were discussing the very thing.
Which is why those in Paris nominate. However you want to figure this out, there needs to be leadership fast.
Yes. I agree, don't you, Gamaliel?
I do.
Asta, do you agree?
I do.
Violet?
Yes.
Sister?
Yeah.
One choice for a, I guess call it a godhead, with a kind of committee. Yes.
Someone that they can respect but not step on.
Someone who has the money to hold that kind of power, correct?
Are you implying what I think you're implying?
Well, it depends on what you think I'm implying.
However
Wow.
this ends up, send a letter to Paris and inform them of what has been decided. My time here is up.
Good to see you.
Please send our deepest gratitude.
And hopefully I can see you again on much better conditions.
And a boon.
Are you offering me a boon?
Yes.
What kind?
Anything. Doesn't have to be now.
I shall tell the Harpy at once. Child, you show great promise. This will be a learning experience for you.
I am very excited yet curious on how this will play out.
He turns. The pentagram behind him, as he steps on it, illuminates. And it's as if he's taking steps downward into a pool that has no bottom, full of blood. As he reaches the last step, as his hair descends below the red viscous liquid into the streets, he disappears. And nothing but the embers and ashes of a pentagram drawn on the floor remain. You're alone. The five of you and a visiting Sedite.
Abbot, were you implying our dear friend become the one?
By our dear friend, I would, well, wouldn't possibly put it to a vote. What is this, democracy?
It's not.
It's the person, it's the kindred, the individual of all of us who are most appropriate. And in my opinion, the individual who would resist signing themselves up is perhaps the most appropriate. Don't you think so, Gamaliel?
I'm conflicted.
Did I find something? Where is my Magdalene in shining armor? So brave.
I have several projects I'm very curious to watch come to fruition. But sure. And he'll take his claws and create a circle 6 feet in diameter. If there is one in this city who would challenge me for the princedom, step in this circle and let's have it out.
Violet,
Yes.
Asta, sister, by all means, if you feel that either one of you are most appropriate, please. I don't want to limit this conversation. I feel I've already spoken too much. So
I do
step in
not-
his circle.
I do not think people would kindly take a Tremere in this situation. I cannot.
I am not going to step in the circle, but we do have another party member here right now, and I will look at Salah.
A
Just to
visiting
see- just to
set tight.
What he does.
Salah, our friend, I don't believe we've met. Stranger.
Salah will do just fine. By the laws of my own faith, I am permitted from taking office.
But you're not permitted to sit on a council to one who does.
That would be acceptable.
Asta,
I have no desire to lead or be a figurehead.
what do you desire?
I desire knowledge, and to be stationary would quell that. Speaking of knowledge, I think I might have a plan to deal with this unfortunate circumstance, but if you would like to resolve this first, be my guest.
Much agreed.
I think it has resolved itself.
Yes.
And each one of us has a part to play. Asta, as you said, a keeper of knowledge. Each one of us is a keeper of something in this city, to which we can figure out what that is individually for each one of us. But I am interested to close this matter and hear what you have to say. But first, the abbot is going to cut himself with his nail on his wrist and pour a little bit of his blood in the circle. Why not make it official?
We'll follow suit.
As will I.
And
Yeah.
I.
Do as well.
Excellent. And so these nights begin. I look forward to this with some trepidation. But I'm more than ready for what's coming.
Is it too late to accept the offer of staying at thy manse?
It's never too late.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
Long live the king.
And that seems like a good point for us to wrap our second episode of Vampire the Masquerade, Dark Ages, 5th edition. I'm your storyteller, Rick Wheeler. You can find me at Oops All Setite on Twitter and at everywhere Gehenna Gaming is, as I am one of the very happy and fortunate founders of this great organization that brings all of these wonderful people to the table to play, where we make new friends, invite them, and show off not only what they can do, but what we can do together. With me tonight is my cast of dear friends. Let's start off with what may very well be the new Prince of Marseille, Michelle Wallace.
I'm very excited about this new turn. Yeah, I am Mitchell. You can find me on all social medias at Penny for a Tale. The biggest thing I got going on as I drop the forest behind me, Pachow, is Necrobiotic, which is on Kickstarter right now. Make sure to go and back it. Other than that, this has been fantastic. I love this, and I love the Abbot, and I love Floor, and I can't wait to get this set tight and the dear nun in a room together. That is something I plan to explore.
Probably don't even need to ship that.
It's gonna happen.
I ship, it's canon. Here we go.
It's sailing.
It'll be great. Well, yeah, that's me.
Yes, Kickstarter, Necrobiotic. Check it out. Support our dear friend Mitch. With us also tonight is our Tremere, who might have just gained some status and clout. Ooh.
Got to smooth talk your way through.
Working
Hi.
way
Making
up
up
that
that
ladder, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with another witch. She was threatening me. Look how it turned out for her.
And now there's only one.
There
Yeah.
can only be one. Hi everyone, I'm Elliot. I have been Violet de Claret. You can find me on social media if you want to see my shit posts at Chaos Elliot. If you want to see when I go live on Twitch, I am at Chaos Them. I am live most of the time between 7 and 9 on weekdays, around 1 o'clock on weekends when my schedule isn't hectic. I love this group. I love these people. I'm so excited to see what happens next.
I believe you're also playing in a Thursday night game of
Oh, yes,
the
that is
Midnight
awesome.
World
Which is
alongside.
amazing. Please, please, please check us out on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock for session 3 of the Midnight World next week. I have saved the lives of our party and I have wasted some of my minutes doing that, but to understand what that means,
A
you'll have
lot
to
of minutes.
in. And at 11 minutes.
So please check out Elliot with our dear friend James Davey, the creator of the Midnight World, who's running that wonderful game for us on Thursday nights at Gehenna Gaming Twitch. The game is probably going to YouTube soon too, for those who are interested. Your other player in that game is Sister Hildegard.
Hi. Yeah, that's me. I'm Calamity Casey. You can find me everywhere at Calamity Casey. And I am the co-host of a podcast called Strange and Unusual, where we talk dark history, true crime, and like corpses. Like I talk about a lot of corpses. This is my dream.
It's true capitation.
Actually, it was so funny last night we were playing and James was like gushing over my podcast. I was like,
It
oh
was
my
so
god,
great.
James.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. And really, Midnight World is great. But 100%, first things first, you got to back necrobiotic. What?
Oh, yeah. Look at that sign. That's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's brilliant.
I backed
Love
it
that
in the
sign.
first day.
It's so
I did.
Mitch.
Did you know that you could play Necrobiotic with tarot cards?
That's what I heard.
Bop!
Yeah, and possibly I am working on magic cards as well. If we,
Oh, I have
Stop
a
it.
bunch
That's
of
awesome.
those.
we want to get really silly.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Or playing cards. And that's okay too.
Yep.
We also have Asta Sorensen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dana. You can find me at Dana Lee B on Twitter, and I post a weekly schedule there for all the streams and things that I do. I am so excited to be a part of this game. It's been so much fun, and I really want it to be next week now.
Me too. That's always good to hear.
I know. I'm
Okay,
so
I can
excited.
make
Asta
some-
was like, I have a plan. And I'm like, it's going to be next week.
And
I
like,
wrote
I
it down,
need
it's
to figure
okay.
out. I need to figure out something for Asta. I feel like I got everyone else. Like, I got a plan for them, but Asta, I'm still like,
Gotta figure out what
She's
bait
a
you need to use.
mystery.
That's all. Right?
yeah, what's she thirsting after? They're a
I couldn't
librarian.
pick up
Violet.
any books for her. I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
I'm gonna have
anything.
to- it's gonna be like a sexy
Violet hiding in a
librarian.
corner going, no.
Look at this book. There's naked people in it?
Yeah.
Kama
Bash the devil stood and felt
Kama
out awful.
what are you doing in France?
You know, that book gets around. It was in our They Came From Beyond the Grave game, and now it's going to show up here.
It was. I forgot
I mean,
about that.
knowing our prince, I am 90% sure he has a copy somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm almost
I
positive
feel.
he authored it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a stretch goal writer.
Yeah.
Got there on the tail end of it. Like,
You gotta be careful of
Oh.
those stretch goal guys.
yeah, they're like, guys,
They
chocolate,
say
you're
stretch goal.
underutilizing it.
Get literal stretch.
Yeah, literal stretch.
Yep.
Yes.
Last but not least, Abbot Aldrich.
I am Mark Hugh Anderson. I've played Abbot Aldrich. I'm going to say something else. This is my home game, and that feels great. That's really cool. So thank you, everybody, for letting me play with you. You guys are all amazing players, and you are an amazing GM, Rick. You can find me on Twitter at Marcosius with 5s instead of S's. But as always, it's more important that you follow Gehenna Gaming. We've got all sorts of really cool stuff going on. We have a couple of series. We have 3 series going on this week, or every week, excuse me. We also have a bunch of content coming up. More importantly, on Sunday, we're going to be on the 16th. We're going to be interviewing Mr. Mitchell Wallace over here, talking about necrobiotic. It's going to be kind of like a little deep divey episode just to unpack what necrobiotic is all about. Of course, obviously back it because we're writing a scenario on it, and that's a really cool idea. Saturday, we have Clara Herbal, who's running or who's playing Doki Doki Literature Club.
It's so funny.
It's been so awesome.
She's hilarious.
She
I
is
love
so
Clara.
freaking awesome. Yeah. And it's great to watch her play, and she's really funny, and it's just really good. And
We
then
also have the Scarlet Coffin Part 2, the Camarilla version.
that's right.
With the lady cast. And
All lady cast.
A lady cast typically just go through the throat. They don't take any punches. They mean business. Lady players all day long.
Also, one of my favorite people of all time, Persephone, is playing in that game. So please watch it and support her and everything that she does.
I think she's the
and
prince.
I cannot wait. And it's run by Ellie Collins from ATL by Night. So I know there's a lot of people that dig what ATL by Night does. So you can get a little taste of that here on Saturday Night One Shots. And of course, as always, if you like what we do, first of all, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who's supporting us on Patreon. It allows us to do this cool kind of stuff. If you want to support us, that is really, really appreciated. If not, that's totally cool too. I mean, just enjoy what we do. If you want to subscribe to either Twitch or YouTube, that's hugely, hugely helpful because it just lets us know that people are digging what we're doing. And you let us do more cool stuff like this. Yeah, I always have a good time here, and I can't wait to come back next week.
Well, thank you. Last shout out to our friends at the World of Darkness Dark Ages podcast, who has been going through and reviewing the different Dark Ages books, just like our fine fellow friends over at 25 Years of ETM, who have reviewed many of the World of Darkness books, as well as Lore by Night, who's currently doing a series on the roads and paths of humanity. Something that is kind of only in the Sabbat Modern Nights, but is definitely something that our players could get into in this Dark Ages game. If you want to follow Path of Metamorphosis like many Tzimisce do, you're more than welcome to. Our Cappadocian friends do a lot of the Road of Bones, things like that. Mark, well, I'm going to keep that one close to the chest. There's many different roads someone like you might follow.
Maybe.
But it's something that we can look into, we can adapt. The World of Dark Ages is our oyster, and we're using the V5 engine. So we're going to continue to tell some great stories in it, have a lot of fun. So catch us next week for episode 3, because some big stuff went down, and I am very excited to continue this story that's told with my friends. I think that's all we got. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching Dark Ages Vampire.